What's going on, guys? It's Steven right here, and we are getting started on a new episode for you guys, the one that a lot of people have been asking for. I am going to give it to you today, and that is how to stop fighting with your partner. Now, as you notice, I have my headphones in. Little Miss Rose is in my ear as my main producer, feeding me all the good information and also giving me the woman's perspective of everything that I don't know so that I can relay it to you ladies out there for you ladies to understand better. And fellas, I got you. So let's get into this. And of course, we're going to go ahead and start with our sponsor, which is the Camp Transformation Center. Logo and information is right over there. There you go. Takes a second to figure out how the camera works and all that. But anyway, you can go there. They always have a program going on. Right now, me and Miss Rose are in a, what is that called, babe? A trial, a competition? Well, it's a competition between me and her because, you know, we're always competitive with each other. But it's a 6-week, like a challenge. And basically every time you join one, they weigh you in, they measure you, and they make sure that you're trying to lose weight. They give you food advice, they give you workout advice, and everything else. All of that to help you transform your body and to become a little more healthy. So, you want more information? Get in contact with them. Anyway, back to the show. All right, so today is how to stop fighting with your partner. That is a very, very good question. How do you stop fighting with your partner? Their honest reality is you're never going to stop fighting with your partner. That's the very first thing I'm going to tell you. There is always going to be conflict that comes up in your relationship. The question is how do you fight with your partner? How? How do you not fight with your partner where it damages your relationship so bad that you end up breaking up because you've done so much damage over a certain period of time that there's no repairing it? A lot of people don't realize that when you say things, you can't take them back. Words are like bullets. You cannot take them back. So I'm going to go over my list of 10 things with you guys that I really hope help, because they've helped us to go from fighting like cats and dogs to really bringing our arguments down to something where most of our arguments usually tend to be, here's the issue. We talk about it, and then we resolve it. So let's get into this top 10 list, starting with the very first one, and I honestly believe that this is the most important one, and that is connection. Connection, connection, connection. I have dated so many people in this lifetime, and I can tell you that Miss Rose is the very first one that I actually found a connection with, and that is probably the most important thing. Connection with your partner is the thing. If you don't have that connection, you're not going to feel the same amount of love. You are not going to feel the same amount of patience. You are not going to feel the same amount of, honestly, anything with them that you would normally feel with the person that you have a connection with. And it has to be a real deal, genuine connection, a soul-to-soul connection. If you don't have it, honestly, I hate to say this, but are you just friends in a relationship? That's a good question, huh? Number 2, respect. Respect each other. This one, you don't, I guess you really do have to have that connection no matter what, but respect by and far. Let's break that down. When it comes to respect and how you respect each other, saying bad things to each other, calling him an asshole, calling her a bitch, you're not really getting anywhere. All you're doing is bringing up walls. I heard a pastor tell me once that a hard heart puts up walls. A soft heart opens doors. And that was Pastor Jason over at Discovery. Thank you to him for those words, because those words actually can carry a lot of weight. The moment that you decide to disrespect your partner, you've lost them. The moment you sit there and slander them, call them names, just be derogatory towards them, you've lost them at that point. Even if you're doing it in truth said in jest. Truth said in jest is probably one of the biggest hurts in a relationship, because you're sitting there and you're trying to say something. Oh, ha, ha. You're just being so lazy today, babe. So lazy. Yeah, I don't care how you say it. You just called that person lazy. Ha, 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 ha. Does not make it any better. That's like when somebody sends you a text message. You ever get somebody send you a text message and they're like, oh my God, I really hate that sweater, LOL. your LOL doesn't make the fact that you hate somebody's sweater any less or any better. The fact is the LOL is there as a ha 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 ha, true said in jest, and the reality, it still hurts nonetheless. You're still hurting that other person, and you're still disrespecting them regardless. Number 3, you and your partner versus the problem. A lot of people think that when you go into an argument with each other, it's you versus your partner. No. It's you and your partner versus that problem. Regardless of who's at fault for that problem, it's the two of you that need to team up together to tackle whatever that problem is. Now, if you're the person that's having the problem, if you curse too much, if you drink too much, if you are smoking and your partner doesn't like the fact that you smoke, if there's anything else that comes up, even if you're the one doing it, the problem is still you and your partner versus the problem. It's never, ever you versus your partner. The moment you decide you want to battle your partner is the moment you're going to start doing damage in that relationship, and you are going to slow decay that relationship to death. Good luck if you are doing it. Number 4, I statements and tone of voice. Miss Rose is very adamant about this one, that tone of voice and how you walk into an issue is definitely going to control whether that person immediately puts up walls and wants to not listen to you, or if that person is willing to be receptive and listen to you. Your tone of voice makes all the difference in the world. If you walk up to somebody and you're telling them, "Why are you being so lazy today?" they're immediately going to go in defense. Or if you walk up to your partner and go, "Hey, babe, is everything okay? I noticed that you've been a little lazy today." At that point, the tone makes the difference. Although Miss Rose is in the background laughing at me right now with my example. But it is what it is. Tone of voice makes the difference. The other one that is I statements. I statements, I statements. Stop pointing your finger, you. All you're doing is putting that person on defense. Stop it. Stop it now. Stop it immediately. I statements are helpful, and that's the reality. You statements are not. The moment you're sitting there and you're pointing out you put that person on defense, they put up walls, and the moment they put up walls, you have lost them. Obviously, you're probably going to have to take a break at that point if you've lost them, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Controlling your anger. Fellas, let's talk. I have a bad anger issue. I really do. I have tried very hard in the past to control my anger. I can tell you that honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that Rose and I have an amazing connection, I wouldn't be able to control my anger with her, and we would probably not be together to this day, because my anger and my patience level is 0. You have to control your anger. Now, ladies, don't think that we're not talking to you as well. I just happen to be a guy, and I can resonate with the other fellas out there that our anger tends to be a lot more scarier. Our anger tends to be a lot more violent and volatile. The moment you decide to go that road, you've lost that war. You've lost that battle. And you're probably doing serious damage to your relationship. Don't do it. Stop. Remember, controlling your anger. The moment you get to the point where you're so angry that you're saying disrespectful things, or you decide to get physical, take a break. Walk away. It's not worth it. Speaking of that, number 6, breaks are essential. I cannot stress that more. Breaks are essential. Do not sit there and believe that you can have an entire argument and get so mad and so frustrated and so angry that you're still going to be able to hear what the other person has to say. Sometimes you have to take a break. Sometimes you have to walk away. Sometimes, and Miss Rose is one that does this a lot, sometimes they have to take your words and go process them. Really sit down and think about what it is that you're saying and why you're saying it, and really put it down in their own mind of, maybe he or she means this. Maybe I am doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not. and other things will come up in your mind along the way. Breaks are very, very essential, but it's very important that you do them in a specific way. You cannot just walk away from your partner and expect them to not be upset with you. You have to, one of you has to have the cool mind to say, hey, you know what? Let's pause. Let's table this. Let's come back to this when our heads are cooler. Let's walk away, because at this point, all we're going to do is say things that we don't want to say to each other, and we're going to do damage. Let's just take a break and go think about this. We'll come back when cooler heads have had a moment. Even if it's in the middle of the night, which brings me to my next one, going to bed angry. Now, I'm a wedding DJ, and I've DJ'd hundreds of weddings. I always hear the father of the bride or one of the best men tell you, don't go to bed angry. Okay. Maybe that works for them. Maybe it does. Maybe you are one of those people that can stay up till the 3, 4, 5 a.m.s until the sun rises, and that's how you solve your problems. I can tell you, for the vast majority of us, don't do that. Take a break. Take a break. The more tired you are, the more volatile you're going to be. I heard this saying, if we're going to get back onto sayings here, and the saying is specifically, do not fight after 9 p.m. and before 9 a.m. And the reason why is because, well, after 9 p.m., you're usually pretty tired. You're usually pretty exhausted, and you have less patience, you have less ability, you have less energy, you have less resolve to want to hear somebody else's problem. And so the honest reality is that fighting after 9 p.m., you're usually not going to solve anything. Fighting before 9 a.m., well, honestly, that's just because you don't want to start your day off on the wrong foot. The essential part of everyone's life should be to start your day off with something positive. Start your day off with positive music. Start your day off with positive words of affirmation towards your partner. That is an amazing way to start your day, when you can look at your partner and go, damn, babe, you look beautiful today. Or, damn, honey, you look very handsome today. Depending on who you are and who you're talking to, right? So, words of affirmation, start them off in the morning in a positive way. You put a little, what do you call that? A little jump in your giddy up, whatever you want to call that. You just make a person feel good. Ladies, if you get hangry, do not have an argument while you're hangry. Your hunger is not going to solve the problem, no matter how hard you try. If you're hangry, take a break. But if you're tired, take another break. And if you have to go to bed angry, it's okay. The problem's still going to be there. You're still going to be able to talk about it in the morning, and odds are that you are going to be able to solve it easier after you've had a nighttime to think about it, and you're not angry anymore. You are now more open and more receptive to solving that problem. And that's a big one. Being receptive to solving a problem. You have to be able to take a break. You have to be able to let your mind cool off. Now, let's go on to number 8. Is the fight worth it? Is it worth it? They tell you pick and choose your battles, but here's the problem. A lot of people don't tell you that when you get into an argument, I don't care how soft the argument is. I don't care how small the argument is. When you get into an argument, it's an argument. Is it worth the battle? Is it worth the next few days of that person still being hurt? That person still being upset? That person may not tell you to your face. They may not. But at the end of the day, they're still harboring something inside of them. And did you build resentment in that argument? Did you actually build resentment with that person? And now all of a sudden they're very, very, very upset with you internally because, well, you might have gone after them in a way that hurt them. You might have said something to them that hurt them, and now they're building resentment. Resentment, the definition of that is resent anger. They're resending that anger to themselves over and over and over and over. They're thinking about what you did throughout the day, and it bothers them. and it's going to continue to bother them until they get over it. But that takes time. Time heals that wound, yes, but it takes time. And along the way, how many other arguments are going to come up? Or how many snarky remarks or comments, stupid jokes that are really aimed at you because they're still upset about something that you did a few days ago that you've already forgotten. They haven't. So when you win, you lose. And let's be honest about this one. If you are going to sit there and go after your partner and your whole sole purpose of this argument is just to win the fight, you lost. You lose. You won the battle. Sure. That's great. You won the fight. Ooh. All you did was beat your partner down to the point where they are now building resentment towards you. They don't feel like they can express themselves to you. They don't feel like they can bring an argument to you anymore because you're not going to listen. Because you're not going to listen. That's the reality of it. All you did by sitting there and beating them down and forcing them to lose that battle, because all you did was overtalk them, all you did was overbear them, all you did was force their opinion down their throat, they're not going to come to you anymore. You're losing that person's ability to come to you with a problem. And that is essential in any relationship for it to succeed, is that being able to be open and going to that person and talking to them and saying, hey, I have this wrong. Hey, I don't feel good about this. Hey, I don't like this. And it doesn't even have to be about you. What you don't realize is when you shut that person down, you are shutting that person down from coming to you for anything. How their day was, what they went through, how they're feeling. They might be feeling sick. They may not come tell you anymore because all you did was shut them down. That's it. When you win, you lose. And that comes about with slow decay. Let me explain what slow decay is because I'm sure I'm going to get comments about this. Slow decay, that is when you are literally killing your relationship little by little by little. Think about like a banana that you leave out. Starts off green, right? Young, vibrant, perfect, beautiful. It's getting to a nice ripeness where you can really enjoy the banana. But then you ignore the banana and it starts to develop that little black spot. Then multiple black spots. Then eventually that banana starts to decay slowly, day by day, minute by minute. That's what you're doing to your relationship when you do that. You are causing slow decay in your relationship every time you make a snarky, disrespectful comment. Every time you beat them down and win a battle, you're slow decaying that relationship. Eventually that person's going to want to leave. They're not going to want to put up with it. That's what slow decay is. Last one, probably the second most important one in my opinion, compromise and resolution. Compromise does not mean you got your way. Compromise does not mean they get their way. Compromise means you are willing to give a little, they're willing to give a little, and you come up with a solution that works for the two of you. That is an equal resolution. Every relationship should be a 50-50 partnership. 50-50 means your task, your obligation is to put in your 50% into that relationship. Their task is to put in their 50%, and you come up. Their opinion matters just as much as yours does. And you have to make sure that your partner definitely feels that, because if they don't feel like their opinion matters, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? They're not going to come and tell you their opinion if their opinion doesn't matter to you. If you're just going to sit there and do that, all you're doing is allowing your ego, your own temperament, your own ego, and that's one of the things that I've been told 100 times is to check your ego at the door. Your ego does not belong in your relationship. Your ego can be out there in public. I have one. I'm a DJ. I definitely have an ego. But in my relationship with Rose, I have to check my ego at the door. And I have been victim of that a bunch of times where I didn't check my ego at the door. And it took the second break for me to finally put my ego down and actually hear what she had to say. Same for her. Check your ego at the door. Your ego does not belong in that argument, and your ego does not belong in that relationship. What belongs in that relationship is patience and love and kindness, the 3 pillars of a relationship. So resolution and compromise should be something between the 2 of you. It should not be what you want. It should not be what they want. It should be something that both of you can agree upon, that both of you are comfortable with. Those are my 10 ways that me and Miss Rose here have learned to minimize the damage of fights in a relationship, to minimize the length of an argument, and to minimize the amount of fighting you do in a relationship with each other. Because let's be honest, problems are always going to arise. You're always going to have rough times. Always. That's inevitable. But being able to communicate with each other in a respectful and loving manner is what is going to make all the difference in the world. And if you don't have that in your relationship, I highly recommend that you go get counseling. I highly recommend you seek help. And you know what? It's a hard thing for us men to say, but in this day and age, in this world that we live in, where us men are supposed to be tough and us men are supposed to be strong, stop it, fellas. It is okay to cry. It is okay to show other emotions besides anger. It is okay to show other emotions besides happiness. It is okay to smile in a photo. And it is definitely okay to look at your partner and cry. I do. And I don't have a problem admitting it. The other thing I can recommend, go to church. Go to church. One of our future episodes is going to be talking about how to find the right church with your partner, because that one is a tough one. What if you come up from 2 different types of denominations? What if you're like me and Rose and you come up from 2 different types of language and there's a language barrier in between you? She's Hispanic. I'm clearly white. What do you do then? How do you come and navigate that situation? That's one of our future ones that we'll be having with you guys down the road. But in the meantime, if you have any questions and if you have any other thoughts, put them down in the comments. If you'd like to come on to the show and be a part of the show and tell your story, I would love to have you on here, because if your story can help someone else, I'm all about that. In the meantime, we'll see you guys on the next one. Later.